Hello learners, welcome to the today's session on coordination and cohesiveness. There are certain objectives to this session which shall bring understanding to meaning of coordination, types of coordination, ways to maintain coordination, importance, process of coordination, essentials of coordination, meaning of group cohesiveness, characteristics of group cohesiveness, factors affecting group cohesiveness, advantages and disadvantages of group cohesiveness. First, I shall take coordination and thereafter cohesiveness. Firstly, meaning of coordination. Coordination means harmonious combination or interaction. It is an orderly arrangement of group efforts to provide unity of action in the pursuit of common purpose. According to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, coordination is the process of organizing people or groups so that they work together properly and well. It also says that the coordination is the harmonious functioning of parts for effective results. It's according to the Cambridge dictionary, coordination is the act of making all the people involved in a plan or activity to work together in an organized way. Coordination can be explained further as two sets of types of coordination. The first set is internal and external coordination. The second set is vertical and horizontal coordination. Now, what is internal and external coordination? Internal coordination exists within the enterprise among the different units. This coordination is necessary among individuals of a group, among departments of the enterprise, among branch offices, plants, sections, and other parts of an enterprise. However, external coordination exists between the organization and the other entities existing outside the organization. Learners, every management performs through its varied functions like planning, organizing, staffing, and controlling. These functions must be coordinated for the overall performance to be effective and efficient. If these functions are not well coordinated, then there is loss of productivity of the work output. So, it can be said that the lack of coordination puts adverse implication on the performance of the work group. Now, I further explain the other set, that is about vertical coordination. Vertical coordination means coordination between different levels of organization. The vertical structure of an organization states that the lines of authority passes from top to bottom, that is from superior to subordinate. In case of vertical structure, it is imperative on the part of management to ensure adequate coordination between different levels through proper delegation of authority with the help of directing and controlling. To achieve organizational goals and in order to facilitate the work, activities of the organization must be divided and are required to be grouped under different departments and at different levels. Since the vertical structure exists in all departments of the organization, so does the vertical coordination. Now comes the horizontal coordination, which is also known as lateral coordination. It indicates the relationship between peers, colleagues, fellow workers from different departments positioned at the same level of hierarchy. Horizontal organization structure refers to the arrangement which is at the same level. This lateral coordination thus means the coordination among individuals who are located on the same level and normally they have no authority over each other. They are equal in terms of the amount of authority. Lateral relations allow the information to be exchanged across a scalar chain rather than with people placed at higher or levels below in an organizational hierarchy. Thus, the coordination that takes place across the horizontal level of management among peers is known as horizontal coordination. Coordination within the department can be maintained through different ways, which are like direct contact, liaison officers, task forces and committees. Now I shall be explaining these one by one. First is direct contact. Direct contact happens when people of different departments directly communicate with each other to solve their organizational problems without involving the top managers. Coordination is thus achieved without following the chain of command. Liaison officer. Liaison officer is a person who is employed to form working relationship among employees. The role of liaison officer is to maintain direct contact with people of different departments. He acts as a common link between the units or departments. Though liaison officer does not have formal authority over the groups, he facilitates the flow of information and communication between them. He coordinates the efforts of diverse groups by dealing directly with departments where problems are occurring. Now, the task force, where liaison officers cannot coordinate the activities of a department because the interdepartmental dependence is complex. In that situation, liaison officer may not be successful. So, in such a situation, task forces are created to facilitate coordination. A task force is a team of members from different departments who form a group and share information with respect to the problem of their respective departments or to certain problems faced commonly. When solution to the problem is achieved, the task force is dissolved and members go back to their respective positions. Coordination amongst different departments is thus facilitated through task force. Now comes committees. Committees are the formally organized groups with designated membership and a chairperson of the committee. Committee members meet regularly through scheduled meetings under the chairmanship of a person designated as a chairperson. Committees are generally formed to look into specific organizational problems which may be reoccurring in nature or maybe having a nature to be occurred first time. Now I'll explain the importance of coordination. The importance of coordination is in terms of yielding effectiveness, efficiency, productivity, synergy, harmony, job satisfaction, etc. Now I shall be explaining these one by one. Effectiveness. What is effectiveness? Effectiveness is related to being able to achieve a desired outcome or end result. It is related to the adequacy of accomplishing a purpose, that is to produce the intended or expected result. Now efficiency. Efficiency is about performing or functioning in the best possible manner with the least waste of time and effort. So this is the ability to avoid wasting materials, energy, efforts, money and time and in doing something or in producing a desired result. In a more general sense, it is the ability to do things well, successfully and without waste. Efficiency signifies a peak level of performance that uses the least amount of inputs to achieve the highest amount of output. Now, productivity. Productivity is the rate at which a person, company or country does useful work. This is a way to measure efficiency. We all have 24 hours in a day. Productivity is being able to make the most of them. Fine. Now comes synergy. This is about the interaction or cooperation of two or more organizations, substances or other agents to produce a combined effect that is greater than the sum of their separate effects. As per the Cambridge Dictionary, synergy is the combined power of a group of things when they are working together, that is greater than the total power achieved by each working separately. Teamwork at its best results in a synergy that can be very productive. Now comes harmony. Harmony is a situation in which people are peaceful and agree with each other. Job satisfaction. Job satisfaction refers to a person's feeling of satisfaction on the job, which acts as a motivation to work. So, effectiveness, efficiency, productivity, synergy, harmony and job satisfaction have been discussed as the outcomes of what? The outcomes of coordination. Now, what is the process of coordination? Process refers to the various steps which are followed to achieve something. Process is referring to the various steps to achieve something. Coordination cannot be achieved through orders. That coordination cannot be achieved through orders. It is a process rather which can be achieved through managerial functions. It is a byproduct of good management. When all the functions are carried out properly, then coordination will come by itself. Coordination thus may be achieved through different managerial functions, and these managerial functions are planning, organizing, staffing, directing and controlling. Now I shall explain each one of these functions. Planning is the foundation stage of achieving coordination. When various functions are properly planned and various policies are well integrated, then coordination will be easily achieved. For instance, if the production manager is to plan for his development, then it will be better to consult purchase manager, personnel manager, finance manager and sales manager also. When production is planned with the consent of other concerned managers, then coordination takes place at planning level itself. If at any stage the other manager feels some difficulties or mismatch to the working process, then they will express it and would collectively work to resolve probable problem that may occur in future. Now comes the next, organizing function. What is organizing function? Organizing is the process through which organization structure is designed. It consists of the elements like departmentation, linking departments, defining authority and responsibility, and prescribing authority relationships like so. In order to have organizational productivity, the structuring of the organization is designed in a manner to facilitate work among the people holding different positions in the organization structure. And the way the organization structure is designed helps to bring coordination. Now comes staffing. Staffing is the process of acquiring, developing, employing, appraising, remunerating and retaining people so that right type of people are available at right positions and at right time in the organization. The staffing function can also help in proper coordination when the employer keeps in mind the nature of the jobs and the type of persons required for managing them. And it happens when there is adequate information about the background of the employees, then the employer can keep this in mind and position the right number of employees at the right positions. Fine. The next is directing. Direction is the process of instructing, guiding, counseling, motivating and leading the human resources to achieve organizational objectives. When a manager directs his subordinates, this attributes to coordinating their work under manager's directions, as he gives them directions, guidelines and instructions for doing a job assigned to them. This is every manager's job, to direct in such a way that should help bring coordination and in the achievement of overall organizational objectives. Now comes the controlling function. Control is the function to confirm that everything is going as per plan. That is, there is no deviation from what is expected. And if in a case there is some deviation, then correcting measures are taken to put things on the track. There may be instances when performance of subordinate is not up to the mark, or it is not in the direction in which it should have been. In such instances, managers need to take corrective measures as and when required. The mechanism of taking corrective measures by default carries within it the features of coordination. Now, besides through these management functions, coordination is achieved through proper communication as well. Effective communication is of utmost importance for achieving better coordination. There should be a regular flow of information among various persons so that they are given required information for proper coordination. Personal contact is the most effective type of communication. Other methods like reports, procedures, bulletin, etc. can also be used properly. In these days, communication technology is truly helpful in achieving coordination. Now, in addition, there are a few important points which help achieve coordination. These are clearer goals. The goals should be clear enough to develop the right understanding. There should be no ambiguity. Then there should be proper allocation of work. This means rendering right job in the hands of the right person. Then there is clear understanding of responsibility. There should be clear understanding of responsibility. Why? Because there should be clear understanding of responsibility, because this helps to set accountability. This is done at the level of delegation of authority and responsibility. The next is sound leadership. Leader is the person who leads others and guides others. His sound guidance not only motivates for work but also influences to work in coordination. Now, essentials for coordination. To achieve the best possible coordination-based outcomes, there are certain essentials like participation, impartiality, transparency, sharing of resources, and challenges. Now, I take up each one of these individually. First one is participation. This means participation of all stakeholders in the decision-making process. Coordination occurs through the legitimacy derived from involvement and participation of all who are connected to or who gets affected by the decision-making process. The coordinator must secure and maintain the confidence of others through involving all the participants in decision-making process. Impartial, being impartial. The coordination process should not be seen to favor one department or program over another, but rather to identify the distinctive competencies of each one. So coordination should advocate the principle of impartiality. Transparency, that is being transparent. Coordinations require trust and trust requires transparency, which includes the willing flow of information, open decision-making processes, and sincere and honest rationale for the decisions. Sharing of resources and challenges. The coordination process must allow sharing of common resources as well as sharing of situational pressures which offer challenges. Now we move on from coordination to cohesiveness, which is the second part of our session, that is cohesiveness. What is cohesiveness? Cohesiveness in terms of group cohesiveness means the extent to which members of the group remain committed towards each other. It is the affinity which the members share among each other which binds the group as a single unit. It signifies the extent of sincerity and interest of the members to remain in the group. This is about remaining united and working together effectively. Group cohesiveness is visible if the aim of the group and its members coincide, if there is a good attachment among members and there is similarity of goals, then it forms an intact organization. Now, if the liking between members is not that good, the cohesiveness of the group gets weakened. When individual goals are different from group goals, then this lessens or reduces the bond between members. That is to say, if an individual puts his career and desires in the forefront and joins the group for his own selfish interest, it will negatively impact the group cohesion. Cohesiveness is about the degree of closeness that the members with the other group members. It is understood as the extent of liking that exists between group members. Cohesiveness among members is one of the reasons for motivation to remain in the group and work together. The more the members feel connected to the group, the greater will be the group cohesiveness. The greater the cohesiveness, the greater the influence of the group members to persuade one another to conform to the group norms. And the greater the conformity, the greater the identity of the members connected to the group. Now comes the characteristics of group cohesiveness. Cohesion generally has three characteristics. They include interpersonal attractions, group pride, and commitment to the work of the group. Now, what is interpersonal attraction? It means group members have a preference or want to interact with each other. Group pride means group members feel proud of their group membership. Commitment to the work of the group means group members feel committed to their collective work and believe in its goals. They are willing to work together to complete tasks which are aligned with the group goals even during the challenging times. Now, I shall discuss the factors affecting group cohesiveness. Now let us understand about on what factors depends the ability of a group to be more or less cohesive. The ability of a group to be more or less cohesive is dependent on several factors like similarity, group openness to new members, trust, stage of the group, spending time, group size, etc. Now I shall be taking up these various factors one by one. Under the similarity factor, when the group members are similar, it is easier for the group to become cohesive. The similarity can be due to the presence of common traits such as having similar values, beliefs, life circumstances, or pressing life issues. For example, a group of people with similar life stage cycle may be more cohesive than people with different life stage cycle. Group openness to the members. When a group is open and welcoming to new members, group members most easily develop cohesion. Now the trust factor. Under trust factor, when group members feel they can trust each other, group cohesiveness is more easily developed. And trust is very important element as this gives a sense of security to perform in a group. Now the next factor is stage of the group. Group formation take place through different stages. The group members which belong to the same stage of the group formation, they tend to have more cohesiveness than those belonging to the other stage of the group formation. Time spent together. Under this factor, the more time people spend together, the more they will get to know each other and there will be more tendency to get closer to each other, thus strengthening the degree of cohesiveness. The next factor is group size. In large size group, the close interactions among group members gets limited and thus the cohesiveness. However, in case of small groups, the possibility of interaction is greater and therefore the group is more cohesive. The next factor is the level of difficulty in entry. In some groups, the members are selected on the basis of certain criteria. Once selected, the member feels a sense of pride and accomplishment. The members of such groups are cohesive because members are selected on the basis of certain characteristics, and these characteristics being common to all members, this renders liking and attractions toward each other. The next point is threat of existence. Whenever the common group goal is threatened, cohesiveness increases among the group members. For example, you must have observed that various political parties in India, which usually have different agendas, get surprisingly unified with the common agenda of giving loss to some other party, which is a common threat to the existence of the parties getting unified under special situation of threat to existence only. Otherwise, they may be having nothing in common. Now, the next factor is success. When a group achieves a meaningful goal, the cohesiveness of the group increases because the success is shared by all the members, and each one feels responsible for the achievement and more attached to the successful group. Now, a similarity of attitudes and values, which is another factor. One of the strongest sources of group cohesiveness is the similarity in values, morals, beliefs, and code of conduct. That is why people with the same ideology feel connected to each other. Now I come to the point of discussion with regard to advantages of group cohesiveness. Coordination is the most important advantage which comes out of the group cohesiveness. As the group members feels more connected, they have high tendency to coordinate with each other for group goal. Lastly, it is pertinent to mention certain disadvantages too. What are those disadvantages? The first one is detrimental nature of group norms. The second one is groupthink, and the third one is resistance to change. Detrimental nature of group norms. Members of cohesive groups tend to follow group norms. Group norms are the explicit and implicit rules that governs the values, actions, and behavior of group members. Some norms enable the group to function more effectively, such as encouraging everyone to participate in decision making or good timekeeping. However, there can be some norms which work against productivity. For example, if the group norm is to work at a steady pace in a cohesive group to match with the speed of a slow group member, the group will work in a slow pace and will show reluctance to put in extra effort to meet a deadline. So this is a disadvantage. The next one is groupthink. When highly cohesive groups make decisions, they run the risk of groupthink. What is groupthink? Groupthink occurs when group members are reluctant to express dissenting opinions to avoid causing disharmony within a cohesive group. Opinions held by the majority or by key group members are regarded as unanimous, and alternative views are discouraged. Groupthink can lead to poor or irrational decisions. Now, the third one is resistance to change. Members of cohesive groups are closely connected and therefore able to offer unified resistance to idea of a change from their status quo. Dear learners, this is all about the lecture on coordination and cohesiveness. Thank you very much.